Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. Great. To know one. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's actually very proactive. I'm always excited when I hear people say, "Oh, I have plans for the next 10 years," but you know what? I'm already doing something about it. That actually shows the type of person that you are. That you're somebody who is very proactive. So I'm sure a lot of the information we're going to be sharing here today will be very productive, and it's going to be of benefit to you definitely, even though you are still planning to relocate. Um, so now you're welcome. Okay, so we have others who are also joining us. I can see Clara, but I think I'll go in the manner and way that people came in. And by the way, there is I will call it a ritual for us here. We like to show ourselves on camera. We don't want to be shy because shy people don't, they don't get to connect, So, and I'm one of them. I used to be one of them until I realized that it's not going to work unless I show up, you know. So when you say right, right. So okay, yeah, yeah, that's okay. Totally okay. But for those who will be able to show themselves on camera, I think that is the best way to connect with people, right? So, capturing different see if this continues. Okay, I'm having some issues with my connection here on LinkedIn. Give me a second here. Let me try again. So, who wants to go next? Okay, let's go in the order in which people came in. I think I saw Boyega first came in. Boyega, can you introduce yourself? Okay, so here's okay. So scratch all that. Let me introduce myself to you guys, and then maybe you can use that format in your introduction. So, because we've started already, let's just get to it already. And this is one of those sessions where we try to also incorporate um you know, networking. This is like a networking session. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to introduce myself. If somebody met me at a networking event, how do I introduce myself to this person? So, well, my name is Abiodun Oke. I'm a supply chain management professional. I am the founder of Zero Project Services. It's a training and consulting organization. I had about 20 years, over 20 years experience in the supply chain industry, both in the private public sector. Currently, I've pivoted into training mentoring, and this is what led me to the founding of Zero Project Services, where I support foreign trained professionals in Canada with resources, training, and professional development toward helping them to integrate successfully in Canada. So, well, the way I've done it, it might look like, okay, well, this guy is very good at doing this, but you know what? I've done it like 100 times. Okay. So, you need to know that this is something you need to continuously practice so that you will get some ingredients in it that you need to touch on. So, this ingredient is who you are. Like, what is your value proposition? If I'm meeting you today, why do I even need to care? Right? And you will see that there is answer to that in my little introduction. About who I am, you will see that I said that I'm a supply chain management professional. I also talked about my experience briefly. So the context in which I will do this type of introduction is I go into a networking event where I meet other professionals and they are looking to know, okay, what do I do? Or and things like that. So that's why I focus strictly on what I did and stuff like that. So your own. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just give it a try. It's a journey. You will continuously improve on it until it becomes like part of you, just the way I said it without even skipping a heartbeat, right? So that's how we'll start today. It's the very first item on our session today. So you will introduce yourself, and I will also encourage that you do that in the chat box too. Just do a little introduction where you're from. Like not like your home country. We're talking about where you are based, where you're calling in from, in Canada, and then use the LinkedIn URL. So I'll be calling each one of you out to do that. But then those who haven't been called to do that, you can just type that in the chat box. Please put your LinkedIn URL as well so that we can connect. This is the whole point of what we're doing here today. We want to expand our network, and so we want to connect with each other and keep the conversation going. So, Boyega, having said that, can you introduce yourself, please? Okay, great. Thanks, Boyega, for that short introduction. Arpan, I think you joined immediately after Gbenga. Can you go for it? Thanks, Gbenga. Boyega. Okay, awesome. Cool. Thanks. Nice to meet you, Arpan. I think this is the first time you're joining our session. You're welcome. Okay. Let's go to Clara. Clara is the next person that joined after Arpan. Clara, can you introduce yourself? Mm, okay. Okay. Sorry, where are you joining up from, if I may ask? Oh, okay, great. Okay, so that's our people, right? Yep. Oh, you're also in Winnipeg, Arpan? Oh, okay, great, great. Yeah, so like I said earlier, don't forget to do a little blob, in the comment section and put your LinkedIn URL there. It's very important. We want you to connect with folks here so that you can keep the conversation going. I will tell you later why this is very, very important. Because the guys who are joining the session today, they're on the same journey with you, and it is possible that they get to see opportunities that you might be more a better fit than them, so that way they're able to share these opportunities with you. So it's important to connect for this reason so that you can keep the conversation going, especially with the other guys that are also joining here. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with my LinkedIn stuff here. Let me try again. I don't know why it's just not working. Okay, so who wants to go next? Thanks, Clara. Thanks, Arpan, for the introduction. Feyikemi has done ours. Feyikemi, I didn't remember where you were joining from. Can you tell us where you're joining from, Feyikemi? Oh, Winnipeg. Oh, so we have lots of Winnipeg people here, right? Okay. So, who else do we call to introduce himself? Adeola. Is Adeola there? Adeola, are you there? Yes. Winnipeg, yeah. Mm, mm. Manager, yeah. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Nice to meet you, Adela. You know Jerome? No? Okay. Maybe you guys haven't really met much of your colleagues at school. Yeah, he also joins us here once in a while. Um, let's go to who else here? Anjum. Is Anjum there? Anjum, are you there? Don't be shy. Don't bite. Okay. We're not seeing you though. We're not seeing you. If it's okay, can we see you on camera? So yeah. So we can put the name against I mean put the face against the name. Okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can see you now. Nice to see you. Yeah, I think you have network issues there too. So well, we've seen you. You can. Okay, great. Go ahead. Go ahead, Andrew. Okay. Okay, international student. So University of Winnipeg too. Okay, great. Nice to see you. You're welcome, Andrew. Okay. I think Mansour. Okay, Mansour is an. I mean, it's been. You know the drill, right? So I don't need to push. So Mansour, if you can introduce yourself. We can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Okay. Mhm. Oh, you're welcome, Mansour. Yeah, so Mansour also has joined us in a couple of sessions here, and you could hear from his message there that he's really gaining lots of insight from connecting with us. Yeah, I'm gonna do the supply chain industry network presentation in a moment, just to kind of give you an idea as to what we do, how we run things here. Like for some of you guys who are joining us for the first time, you might have the questions. Okay, how does this work? And other things like that. So definitely we'll be doing some type of introduction of what we do. So I hope you can see my screen there, right? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see our screen? Yeah. Oh, okay, great. Thanks. That's fake. And I need to do the same thing on. Bear with me. I have to do the same thing on LinkedIn because I'm streaming. Okay. Okay. You can still see the screen, right? I hope it's not too small for you to see. Any thumbs up? Is all good? Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. The way it kind of works here because I'm multitasking, so to speak. I always need that back end confirmation that things are going well. Yeah, okay. So I think it's also good on LinkedIn. So yeah, just a little bit talk about ourselves. I've mentioned earlier about supply chain industry network. Yeah, we call it supply chain industry network because we started. That's how we started, but we actually operate as an industry network that support foreign trained professionals that are looking to transition successfully into their career. As long as this is a business professional, you would always find resources that will be able to help on your journey, especially when it comes to navigating the sociocultural landscape here in Canada. It's always this case where you as a foreign trained professional, as an immigrant, you left your home country and then you come here. Basically, I do tell people that the moment you decide to step on that plane, to come to Canada, you are taking up a challenge, and I hope you are, you are up for that challenge. So, when we came in 2010, which I would believe that things really are gotten a lot way better now than when I came in, which was 2010. I also struggled. I basically some of my story are there on the YouTube. My journey, which actually should have shown you guys. But I came in 2010 August, and well, I left almost immediately, apparently because I couldn't get a job. I worked in the oil and gas sector, Shell Petroleum, Total EMP, and well, like they just called me that, well, we have a job for you here. So because things hasn't really happened here, I had to leave, and I came back 2011 April with the hope that there was a job that was waiting for me because these guys reached out to me from Calgary. I mean, actually Saskatchewan. That's just not Saskatchewan. Fort McMurray. Yeah, Fort McMurray. That is the northern part of Alberta where the oil and gas activity is going on. So I had the interviews and everything looks great. It looks like they're gonna hire me just the next day. You know how this thing happens, right? They took me to even they were even taking me to some real estate properties, where they're gonna basically where I'm gonna buy a property and stuff like that. They took me on a tour and things. Seeing all of that, I thought, oh well, it looks like it's just a matter of time they're going to give me the job offer. But then I waited for 7 months, nothing happened. And then even after that 7 months, they still did another interview. And then after that, nothing happened. And by the way, guess what? I'd already finished all my money before that time. So I was left to just do survival jobs, living oil and gas and all of that experience and every other thing. I had to do survival jobs. I do make this joke that these survival jobs, I'll even be praying that they don't call me. When you have a job, but it's not a job you like to do, right? I mean, I work on in all sort of messy places. I worked at Canadian Tire. I worked at Granny Poultry. And when you walk on the line at Granny Poultry, you know what that is? You're basically packing. You know, stuff, from the line, that all the stuff that the chicken had messed up and things like that. So I did all of that, and finally I got an opportunity with Home Depot, which was very close to supply chain. Was um, basically replenishment. When you put things on the shelf, you check the shelf to make sure that the items are there, and if the items are not there, you then replace, fill those items on the shelf. So that was kind of a close one. And the thing here is that it was happening during the night too, right? So I had opportunity during the days to actually apply to jobs. So that was really the very good thing for me with the Home Depot job, even though it was strenuous job, like you had to leave stuff and things like that. But then within, I think, 3 months, I got my first professional role in Canada. That was with Manitoba Housing. So Manitoba Housing, I'm sure you guys know Manitoba Housing, right? That's uh, it's yeah, I don't think it's a crown organization, but it's Manitoba government arm that, that are dealing with providing houses for less advantaged or disadvantaged folks. So I did that for a couple of years. I don't think I actually did that for up to 2 years before I got a lead category manager. Lead category um, consultant role at the University of Manitoba, and that's what I did for 6 years before I realized that I must be in the wrong room. I should be in the classroom. Because that was much more fulfilling to me than actually doing the office work. And that's how I pivoted to training and consulting. Currently, I'm actually an instructor at the Red River College. I teach supply chain project management. I'm actually the pioneer faculty for the supply chain management program there at the Red River College. So yeah, that's been my journey. And I know you guys have something similar, or you might experience something similar along the way. And this is like a place where you know, um, a place where I call the commonwealth of experiences, because it's one thing for you to be going through the experiences alone and don't realize that other people are also going through it. And this is what leads to frustration, because you think, oh, I'm the only one that is going through this problem. But guess what? There are several other people that are going through it. But when you come into this fold, this network like this, you can hear other people's story and you're able to connect. Oh, it's not only me. And then we can use this commonwealth of knowledge and experience to help each other. That's really the whole purpose of the supply chain industry network. And we started as a WhatsApp group, all right, and then we scaled to the proper network where we still have the WhatsApp going. So I'm gonna also invite you guys to join the WhatsApp, and the WhatsApp link I will share it here. So what will happen is that the you will request to join, and once you we have a requirement for bringing you in. You have to be on our platform. So even if I share the link with you here, you also still need to join our platform first, and then we'll bring you into the WhatsApp group, because we have rules, and we're not the type of WhatsApp where you just throw anything in there. We're very strict with the things that you post. We want it to be related to the objectives of the group. Anyways, let's move on. So I think I've touched on this already. What we are about is a network that is focused on empowering members for career, professional development in Canada through networking, mentoring, trainings, volunteering, and providing information about industry training, job opportunities, and emerging technologies within the Canadian industry. As we speak currently, we have 5 different um, training that are going on. We have the effective communication one is going on. We have the SAP end user training. We have two. We have also another SAP one, which is for SAP FI consultant training. This is for finance technology, those who are focused on transitioning to technology. And we have the procurement certificate study group also going on. So we are very big on professional development, because one of the things we realize when it comes to integrating here in Canada is the social network, like your social proof. If you don't know anybody that would vouch for you, it makes things really difficult. And this is why we're having this type of session. You get to connect with each other and then connect with our network and people who are within our network. We have over 500 folks on WhatsApp and over 1,000 people across Canada on the main platform itself. So when it comes to connecting, there are huge benefit from this. A referral can happen. You can get information that are very specific to the industry or the company you're applying to. Whereas if you're just applying randomly, this won't have been the case, right? So these are some of the things you also get when you're working with our group. So we have a mission. Basically, Sarah Projects is a like um, the company that is sponsoring this network, because this require resources. So resources of the Sarah project is what we're using to fund and to make these things happen. So we're focused on empowering professionals, career fulfillment, professional development programs, training and internship programs. The mandate here is to create a common world of experience and expertise in the Canadian industry to empower BIPOC professionals. When we say BIPOC, we're talking about Black, Indigenous persons of color in Canada through networking, mentoring, and training, also to foster diversity and inclusion. So that's what this is about. So membership here, you can see the different people that we have in our group: supply chain project managers, business and data analysts, operations managers, info and business systems managers, and human resources managers. Okay, so it's not limited, but like I said earlier, we have limited resources. We're always in need of volunteers. Where we have people who are specialists in these areas, then we start bringing maybe these other type of resources, like maybe finance or any other thing in that area. So you can see the distribution of membership across board. Majorly, people who are in our network are from Ontario, of course, because even the whole of Canada, majority are in Ontario. Okay, so followed by Alberta, and then Manitoba, of course, and then the rest, it's kind of spread between the other provinces. But nonetheless, we have people across the provinces. I'm not talking about territories because these are different areas entirely. But when it comes to the provinces, yeah, we do have people in every of the provinces. So these are the platforms we use: WhatsApp, Clubhouse, Slack, Mighty Network, YouTube, and Zoom, and of course, LinkedIn. So we had some, like kind of a small networking in person. So because most of the things we do are actually online, of course, because of resources limitations. Um, so we did this actually in person 2021, and that was after COVID, I believe. And this is the Toronto one. We had this in Mississauga, and all these are guys who are within our network who had volunteered to make those events happen. We also had in Winnipeg as well. I think the Winnipeg one is here too. Yeah, this is the Winnipeg one. So hopefully we get resources, specifically funding, financial support that we can use to make this happen across entire Canada. We like to do in person, but of course, all of these things requires funding, and it's not something that we have at this point in time. So these are all of the different things we do here on the platform. We meet every Saturday. So the first Saturday of the month is where we do something like this to let you know about the network, what we do, how we support. So the second Saturday, we will do a deep dive, specifically talking about something that relates to job search in Canada. We call it a job search roadmap. So in this job search roadmap, we will talk about different types of things. It could be LinkedIn optimization, it could be resume optimization, it could be just mentioning anything that has to do with job search in Canada. And then the third week, we'll do a mock interview. So these mock interviews usually with guys who are actively job searching in Canada, and maybe they have been struggling to convert the job opportunities into a job offer. Then we will provide some type of feedback, guidance through these sessions. And then the last Saturday is when we will have what we call info session. So info sessions is very broad. We could be talking about industry trends. We could be talking about a career, so like a career info session, or we could be talking about certification, just anything that has to do with the industry and career opportunity. So through serial projects, we're able to offer internship. Some of the internships are not paid, some are paid. It all depends on what we need. So these are some of the internship roles that we've had in the past: project coordinators, UI UX designers, procurement coordinators, marketing and sales intern, business analysts, program coordinators. So this just goes into the details. And we have some brands that support through serial projects. So we have Clearly Speaking, we get help when it comes to public speaking, effective communication through the consultant and business owner at Clearly Speaking, that's Gloria Pear. We have ASCM. So ASCM is the North American Supply Chain Association. So we partner with them to be able to provide all the different trainings, certifications um, on their platform. And also the same thing with U Certify. U Certify is more anonymous. I mean, much more known for um, IT and project management. So everything that has to do with project management, IT, through the U Certified platform, we're able to provide those type of trainings. Um, so these are some of the things we've been able to achieve in the past. We've started what we call the supply chain school. This is specifically focused on supply chain opportunities for professional development. And then there are other things here, partnership, and then also the Industry Connect conference, which we are also holding this year. The Industry Connect conference is a BIPOC themed event featuring over 15 global speakers and experts in the industry. So we're having it in November. So we're going to also have that this year. So that's, I think, in a nutshell, this is what we do. And these are some of our volunteers. Like one of the ways that you can also integrate successfully here and to meet people is uh, through volunteering, right? So and these are some of the guys that are supported. The thing here is be the change. There's a lot of things we can say about the current situation of professionals and immigrants in Canada, right? But instead of us to say, something is wrong, how about we fix what is wrong? So, and this is really what our network is about. We understand the challenges, and having understood the challenges, how do we become that change to affect, those changes that we want, or to really correct those things that are not working out right. So all of the things that we do in our network is basically focused around those challenges and the solution or the way forward. So that is, in a nutshell, what our network is about. My second presentation has to do with what we call the job search roadmap. So this is a way of me introducing you to the challenges in Canada as newcomers. Some of them you're already going through them, and so you might be wondering, okay, what is going on here? And some of them maybe you haven't really experienced them, but we are speaking from the lived experiences of people whom we have come across who are foreign trained professionals in Canada, and those who are indeed transition successfully, but nonetheless they experience these specific situations in Canada. So we're talking about the job search roadmap. I'm going to skip all of this. So yeah, the things that you need to know about job search in Canada, the newcomers journey. What are the things that are the common theme amongst every newcomer, regardless of your career, or your experience, um, your background, your home country? These things are very, very similar experiences. And then we have what we call the hiring pyramid. The hiring pyramid, probably some of you know about it already, but it's such an interesting concept, especially for those who are here in Canada. And then the job search roadmap, and we'll talk about the Pareto rule, which are the things that you're supposed to be doing specifically to help you with your job search. Okay, so before I before I focus on the issues, here is what life might look like for professional foreign trained professional here in Canada. And I've gone through this myself, including the depression. But the depression we're talking about here is what I would call the job search depression. So it's not a clinical depression, right? It's basically some things that you're going through that you basically experience loss of self-esteem, especially in the way you are responding to job search opportunities. So, what do we mean by job search depression? You will see a job opportunity that is posted online, and you will see that you meet all the requirements, you check all the boxes. But at this point, you are fed up already. You've done everything possible. You applied to every job possible. So, this particular one, you're not interested anymore because you want to avoid the pains that you have been going through. So this is the job search depression. If you are at that point on your journey here in Canada, you know you've reached that point where you need help, right? So usually before you get to that point, there are events that actually leads you this way. And those some of the events is what is being highlighted here. You get this job application that you do, and then it appears that somebody called you up on the phone and blah blah blah. You come for an interview and everything looks great, but then all of a sudden you are ghosted. Nobody's responding to you. Even the guys that sounded so enthusiastic to meet you during the interview, nobody is responding to your phone call now. And then you try another one. Yeah, this one seems to be going well. You go up to the fourth interview with the director, and it looks like this is going to be it. And then you're ghosted again. Or sometimes they will even send you that random letter, right? Have you seen that random letter? Well, you are a great candidate. However, we found somebody who is a better fit. So that particular letter, I call it a random feedback. So you're probably getting this random feedback or no feedback at all. So all of these things are things that we are going to look at why all of this is going on when it comes to job search in Canada and what you can do about it. But before that, let's kind of lay the foundation on what you're going through, which is, I call it a transformation journey. Is a challenge that you took upon yourself. You want to develop, you want to, you can't develop in your comfort zone. I guess that's why you chose to come to Canada, right? Nigeria or wherever you're coming from is your home country, is your comfort zone. So you decided that okay, I want to grow, so I'm going to go to Canada. Now, the truth about growing is that there's going to be huge challenges, and this particular thing I'm showing you here is it could be interpreted spiritually and philosophically. It applies to everybody, regardless of what your background is, regardless of the goal you're actually desiring to achieve. All of this, you're going to go through all of this. So there will be the red pill, blue pill moment. That's when the unpleasant knowledge of Canada starts, happening to you. You thought everything was good when you were coming from your own country. Oh, you're gonna get a job right away. Oh, you have 20 years experience from your home country, so it shouldn't be a big deal in Canada. But then go to Canada, you realize that it doesn't work that way. So this is the very first phase of discovery, okay, of Canada, right, and how things work. And then the next thing here is this journey, this self-discovery journey, It's not something that happens automatically. Before people actually get to the self-discovery phase, some of them could have spent like 5 years already in Canada, or even 10 years going through all of these unpleasant things because they didn't meet the right guide. Okay, in every journey, there will always be a guide. But if you don't have a guide, you could go, or you don't have the right guide, you could go all the way on that journey for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, and not really achieve what you had set out to do. So, one thing I'm going to put out here already for you guys is regardless of what you are trying to work on, in terms of professional development, personal development, whatever, business development, there needs to be a guide. All right. So these guides have different names. It could be a coach, it could be a mentor, it could be a recruiter, it could be a hiring manager. All of these are guides on that journey. Okay, but the first guide you will likely meet on this journey, the one we're talking about here, is a mentor. Okay, so and then even though you have that guide, there will be unpleasant things still happening, right? But this guide is the one who will now help you to understand, to give you clarity on what is going on this journey. So, one of the key things that needs to happen for you to really grow on this journey is the last thing here, which is also another phase on this journey where you understand that you need to be um you need to have what we call a growth mindset. So this is another phase on that journey. This guy that you have is the one who will help you to go to this level. If you don't have this guy, then you might not have this level of clarity that everything that you're going through on this journey is happening for you, not happening against you. So the moment you realize that, the sooner then you start trying to understand what you need to learn from those events. So when I say events, I mean events of going to interviews and being ghosted, events of applying to 1,000 jobs in a month and not getting zero response, events of getting the random feedback. Oh, you're a great candidate. However, we found no. We found somebody who is a better fit. All of these are events. But what we see a lot of the time is that people think it's about them, not about the event. So the moment you start responding properly to this event, knowing that it is not like you are the problem or that you are not enough, but that this event, there is something you need to learn from it to become better. And that is when you start growing, right? There are a lot of ways that people can respond to these issues, and this is why you see, even though they are taking up the challenge to grow in Canada, they are not growing. One of the things that people will do, they start saying, "Oh, it's discrimination, it's this." Yeah, we know all of those things exist. We're not denying the fact that there is discrimination. The fact that you have to have a Canadian work experience is discrimination by itself alone, let alone all this other type of discrimination that happens, right? So I hope this concept is clear to us because the the mindset with which you are working needs to change for you to get the type of results you're looking for. And this is why I have to focus on this first. If the mindset doesn't change, I can talk till next year and nothing will change because it's about the results are driven by your behaviors. If the behaviors remains the same, the results are going to be the same. It's as simple as that. Okay, let's look at the hiring pyramid here. Now, the hiring pyramid is another concept that we have to understand in Canada. So the first two things you need to understand on this hiring pyramid is that you need to look at the direction that the employers are hiring. Okay, you can see the way that the employers are hiring. They go into they go through the internal promotion, maybe promoting people who are already consultants, temporary staffs, and then they hire them to become permanent staff. If they don't do that, maybe they can ask people within their company if they know somebody, or if they have a colleague that can do the job. And then the next thing, maybe they could go out to a networking event, just like where we go to events, and then they'll be able to meet people who can fill those roles. The other thing is that they can also engage professional organizations like PMI, like Supply Chain Canada, and reach out to them if they have a candidate, right? So this is the reason why it's also good to connect with these professional associations. They also could use recruitment agencies. So recruitment agencies are different from corporate recruiters, right? Recruitment agencies are basically consulting companies, that will hire, or we call them headhunters sometimes. They will hire on behalf of an organization for profit. Okay, so they get paid if they able to fill that role on behalf of the organization. And then finally, job boards. Okay, they will put it online. Now, the interesting thing here is you guys must have heard this, that the jobs that they post out there, 80% of those jobs are actually hidden. Okay. So not the jobs that are posted there. That's not what I meant. I meant the jobs that are available in the market is only 20% that are posted online. Okay. Now I'm going to give you another interesting concept that mirrors that idea, that only 20% of the jobs that are available in the market are posted online. And the idea is this: if you look at this pyramid, the process that the employers are using to fill roles, the way it is explained here, it's not linear. Okay, I'm going to repeat it. It is not linear in the way I explained it earlier. What happens really is that they do all of these things at the same time when they are filling a role, most of the time. So if they posted a job online, they're also looking inside for somebody who, or they probably even have somebody who is the good fit for that role. In fact, somebody is already shadowing that job that they posted online. They will be talking to different people within their network. They'll be speaking with their employees if they know somebody. And while at the same time, this job is also posted online. So that is the idea, that when they say that only 20% of the jobs that are available are actually posted online, this is what they are saying. That even though you see that job that you're applying to, there is already a preferred candidate for it. There is somebody who is already in that company that is shadowing that job. And so when you get that random letter, don't take it personally as if you are not good enough. It is possible that they actually have somebody already. I guess what HR asked them to do the paperwork. HR says you need to post this online because this is their policy. And we do it in procurement too. We're gatekeepers. If we want to fill a role, I mean, if we want to get hire a supplier, we have to ask. Most of the time, we don't know about that particular category. Let's say technology, where we're trying to buy a software. Yeah, we will ask the sponsor. Okay, do you have any supplier who you think will be able to, supply the software? Of course, they have. They've done their research, and they'll just give you the name of the supplier that you're going to use in your request for quotation or whatever. This is exactly what happens in human recruitment specifically as well. That there are already, most of the time, some potential candidates that have been identified through all these different steps, while the job is also posted online. So this is what we call the hiring pyramid. Okay, so that is the second concept that I want to share with you today. And this is a very revealing concept about what is going on in Canada. And some of the people who come from other countries will be like, I thought in my own country we'll call that legwork, right? That okay, well, it's like you're trying to get somebody to help you to get a job. Well, guess what? This is the way that companies are hiring here. Because, and I'll tell you the reason, and I'll ask you a question now. I hope you've been listening. When people are not on camera, I'm not sure if they're listening or not. All right. So here is the question here. Here is the food for thought from Ernst and Young. They said their analysis shows referred hires perform better, stay longer, and are quicker to integrate into their teams. So the question here, type in the chat box, why do you think this is the case for Ernst and Young? Why are they saying this? Basically, if you come from my own culture, this is what is called legwork. Okay, like you're getting jobs through people that you know, and Ernst and Young is saying that they found out that these are the kind of candidates that perform the best. So I want you to type in the chat box why you think this is the case. So I'll be looking for your comments. Why is this the case? Okay. So, anyways, while you are typing your comments, let me continue. So I'll be watching for your comments on that. This one. Okay. So the first thing that I think you need to do on this journey is to get a mentor. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe. Okay. The first thing you need to get is a mentor. So job search is a project by itself. So you need some guidance. You need some guide. Remember the first slide that I shared with you that when you are on a journey to something, you are on a transformation journey, whatever you're trying to achieve, you need a guide. So getting a mentor is the first thing that I think you need to do. And an experienced guy with insights and experience to save you from costly mistakes on your journey. Um, this is the person that will give you clarity. That is the role that I'm playing here. You need to have some clarity on this journey. You need to have a job search strategy. Applying online is not a job search strategy. You need to develop a strategy that leverages how your target employer fills vacant roles. So this is the reason why I showed you the hiring pyramid, because when it comes to strategy, what we're saying is that you have limited resources. For example, see what a lot of people do as strategy in Canada when they're applying. They will do 100 jobs a week, and they might not get anything from that. We call that the spray and pray. So spray and pray is where you do one resume and then you use this one resume to apply to 100 different jobs, and yet now you're expecting results from that. So that is not a job search strategy. So you need to have a strategy. How are you approaching the market? Is it an effective approach, or is it spray and pray? Okay. Now there's what we call short resume. Short resume is actually something that I developed from exploring the job search challenges in Canada and how to ensure that you have an optimized resume. So it's pretty much manual, but it's way more effective than just doing random. Uh, doing one resume for every other thing you're applying to. So with the artificial intelligence now, actually we can also do a more um, advanced type of SWOT resume. Basically, SWOT resume means that this particular resume highlights your value proposition right off the bat. So I look at your resume, and the very first few lines, I already know that this is the candidate I'm calling for the interview. That is a SWOT resume, a resume that goes straight to the point, hitting a nail on the head within the first few lines. But I tell you what, a lot of people are doing out there, they're doing biographies. And I'm speaking from experience because I know what my resume was before I came to Canada. My resume was essentially is a chronology of events, my education, my experience, and all of those things. And no specific value proposition in terms of how I've added value to my past employers. That wasn't really the focus of a curriculum vitae, which is what we do most of the time from these other cultures. But in North America, what they use is resume, meaning summary. Give us right off the bat how you are the candidate for this role. They want to see in the very first few lines. I don't have time to go even to the second page. If you are not hitting the nail on the head in the very first few lines, your 5 items that you put right there on your resume, yeah, most likely they're not even going to look at the second page because nobody has time for that, right? So that's what a short resume should help you to avoid. So I already talked about this earlier. So one thing I want you to do now is another exercise, to kind of keep this more interactive is I want you to do a job search assessment. So I'm going to share with you a link. Okay, I believe that stuff is here. It's in a second. So I'm going to share with you a survey. So we'll also look at the result of this survey. And I've been collecting this since we've been doing a couple of months now that we've been doing this particular session. So I'm going to share it here with you guys. Okay, so this is a survey. I want you guys to take this survey. All right. This survey, it's just kind of get a sense of where you are on this journey. If it's not applicable to you, just indicate that you're not doing those things or you haven't done those things before. Yeah, so that we can get this in as soon as possible. So that's the assessment I want to do as a way to kind of take a break from the long speech that I've been doing so far. So let's get this done. There's going to be a follow-up assessment that we'll do on the phone with each one of you. But this is the very first step. Let's see where you are on this journey. You will get the result immediately you complete this assessment. And I'll be able to see how you guys have done here. So let's do that in the next 2 minutes while I read the answers to the question I asked earlier. I don't know if those on LinkedIn, let me see if I'm able to share it. Okay, I think I like what this person here. Companies don't want to take risk on a total stranger. That's very good. Very good. I like that. Companies don't want to take risk on total strangers. So I have some problems with my LinkedIn on this app that I'm using to stream. When I send things, it only shows on Facebook. I don't know why. Okay, so let me see if I can share that on. Let me see if I can share that on through my phone. I want people on LinkedIn to also participate. Where is that stuff? I'm just gonna share this here. Okay, I think I can share it with those guys on LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how to fix that LinkedIn stuff. Try to remove my cookies and whatnot, but still not helping. Okay, so let me share this with the guys on LinkedIn. Okay, so I've shared the survey on LinkedIn. I think I see Bisola there. So if you can also try that survey, let's see what you get. If you pass, if you fail. Okay, so referred candidates don't want to mess up who referred them. Yeah. So if you're referring somebody, apparently you're vouching for that person's competence. So if it if it takes you to have to coach that person to make sure the person deliver, you will do it, right? So this is very correct. The recommended person doesn't want to disappoint the one working, yeah, in the company already, yeah. So if somebody recommended you, you don't want to fail that person, right? Because it means, you are putting the person's job at risk. So for this reason, you have no choice than to perform. So there, I think that one was from Subonisi. Uh, Clara, I think it's true because nobody wants to refer somebody that won't perform. Yeah. So that's also another thing. If you refer somebody, definitely you are very sure about that person's competence is why you are referring them, which is way more. Um, so this is what we call social proof. Essentially, when Canadian employers are saying we want you to have Canadian work experience, guess what they are doing? They are trying to make sure that there's a social proof because all they got is your resume, right? So they want to go get beyond just resume. Okay, so have you worked with a company before? Yeah, if you worked with a company before, then definitely there's something that you have been doing well. Okay, so rather than just somebody who landed yesterday, link asking for login details. Wow, that shouldn't have happened. Just give me a second. So, does any other person have issues with that? You can create a login if you don't have a login already, but let me see if I can fix it here. Um, see, not that one. That's not the one I'm looking for. Okay, let me look at the options. Okay, require login. So please try it again. Try it again. I've removed the login thing. Try it again. I've removed the login requirement. Has anybody been able to do it? If you've done your own assessment, can you do a thumbs up? If you've done your assessment, do a thumbs up. Let me see. Oh, okay. They can be done. Darns. So it's only Fake Hemi that has done R so far. So if you've done yours, just give me a thumbs up if you've done yours. And if you had scored above 80%, I would like to know. You can type in the chat box if you scored above 80%. Anybody did above 80%? Okay, PKM says scored on 80, less than 80%. Our fan said didn't make it. Fail is a strong word, right? Shivanshi, I think we removed that requirement already, so you can try it now. Yeah, I already removed that requirement to log in. Try it again. Anybody scored above 80? Yeah, I think 4 people would have done it because this was showing 24, 21 before. Diola says she has less than 80. Okay, so let's look at the results here. Let's look at the results we have here. Um, so this is the results, and we've had 25 people done this so far. You can see the success rate here, right? So this is indicating that a lot of people are not meeting their expectations when it comes to uh, doing job search the right way in Canada. So you can see the questions here. How many referrals have you obtained since beginning your job search? All right. So when it comes to people who had more than five, I think we only have one person who had done more than five referrals. Okay, so let's even look at one, just one referral this time, which is like the lowest. We had about 11 people, and almost half have done none, have not done any referral. And based on the higher pyramid that I just showed you now, you realize that if you are not obtaining referral, which is a difficult thing to get, by the way, because it has its own approach, on how to go about it. You can't just approach anybody randomly and say, "Oh, give me referrals," or just reach out to anybody on LinkedIn and say, "I want referrals for a job." That's not the way it's done. This is something that probably we will talk about. Maybe it's really the one we need to talk about next week. I'm looking at something related to informational interview. Okay, how does it work? As one of the ways to obtain referrals. Then let's go to the second question. Are you currently utilizing a mentor or a coach in your job search? When people who said no are the majority, so almost half. Um, and then we have about eight are not also no, but considering. So like actually more than half in that sense are not using mentors. So as I mentioned earlier, when we looked at the first slide that I went through, talked about the transformation journey requires a guide. A lot of people are not working with a guide, and this is why they are getting frustrations on their journey. They don't have clarity for the most part, and these people they might continue in this direction for the next 5 years. If there are no guides, then they won't really have clarity to be able to make that leap. And then, how long have you been actively searching for a job? Okay, so less than 1 month, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, more than 6 months. So we see that the 11 here out of the 26 that responded have been searching for job more than 6 months. Um, less than 1 month is about six, and between 3 to 6 months, about three. So you can get a sense of how long it takes. For me, I always say it's between 3 to 6 months that it takes. But you can see here, according to these statistics, it's actually showing more than 6 months as the most people that responded. How many interviews have you had so far? Okay, so this is basically showing what progress you are making already on your job search. And here 13 out of the 26 that 24 actually responded to this one. Okay. And then have you received feedback after interviews? Yeah, so a lot of people said no, 8. Only 5 have received out of the 24. Some said yes occasionally. No. So these people requested feedback, but still they didn't get. And so a large number of people are not receiving feedback. Do you have a structured job search strategy in place? Yeah, more than, okay, let's say half. No, but I'm working on developing one. No, I don't have a strategy. So more than half actually don't have. So also a good number said that they have deviated from it occasionally, and only about 5 people followed diligently. Then on average, how many job applications do you submit per week? Okay. So people submit 15 submits more than 10 per week. So this is an indication that a lot of people are doing the spray and pray, spray and pray strategy. Yeah, I'm one of those out there that would say if you are looking for a job in your profession, hopefully it's not the type of job where you're just looking for a survival job. You're not supposed to be doing more than 3 applications in a week. In fact, if it's one and you do that one properly, you're fine. As long as you're able to meet up with that goal. So, well, we can say 3 so that you don't meet all the opportunities out there. But the more you reduce, and this is what we call strategy, right? Because you have limited resources. The moment you are chasing so many job postings out there, the tendency for the quality of work you're putting into those applications to diminish. And then the results of course diminishes. But if you focus on only few, like 3 that you know you're very good fit for these roles, then take your time to apply to those roles properly. Such that what I mentioned earlier about short resume, that when they see this application, they also can see right away that this is the candidate, not some random resume that they don't really see why this person is applying because it doesn't really showcase any valuable position or any type of targeting that shows that this is the candidate that we should be interviewing. All right. How many responses have you received from recruiters regarding your job applications per week? Okay, so 1 to 2, 14. All right, so this is we'll continue taking this data, and I think as we get more people in to do this, the more then it provides an indication of what is really going on, because this is also for us like a the job market situation from a perspective of the job seeker. So it's one thing to see job market from the employer's perspective. It's also another thing to see from the job seeker's perspective of what they're experiencing. And I think this kind of gives you an idea. But beyond that, we also want to look at, okay, what should we be doing, in terms of effective job search. We already mentioned one thing already. We talked about the getting a mentor, getting a guide on this journey. All right. So let's look at the other things that you need to do to help improve your job search situation. Networking is about adding value to your connections and nurturing relationship with new contacts in your target company. So I mentioned earlier that even though we know referral is very, very fundamental when it comes to solve job search success, and they say, "Oh, go and network, and that's how you'll be able to meet people and things like that." But there is a this issue that I have with the way people throw out networking as a solution to job search. That they do not really tell you what networking is about. They think the way they tell it to you is like you're panhandling type of a scenario, like you're a beggar, right? So, and this is not really going to be effective. When we talk about networking, what is really effective is adding value to the people that you meet and taking interest in that person's needs, in that person's journey. So so it's about not going out there and saying I need help, but going out there and helping. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people would think that, oh, well, guess what? I'm looking for a job. I don't have a job. How come I'll be the one helping them? So this is where people get networking wrong. Networking has to be about you helping others, right? It's about you trying to figure out what their needs might be by knowing more about them, and we use a lot of tools for this. The small talk, and through the small talk, you can get an idea of okay, where these guys are on their journey. Maybe they need help, and it's not really like it's a big deal per se. People tend to think it's about me having something very big that before I can help others. I will use Mansour as an example here in the beginning when we're introducing myself. Did you see what he did differently? That I actually talked about this network and how it is valuable to newcomers. That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is adding value. So in a networking scenario, you go to an event, um, something like volunteering to be at the door, being the one that is welcoming people is adding value beyond just attending that event, because this also gives you an opportunity to meet people as a greeter than oh you just another random person that they met at that event. So these are small simple ways that you can use to add value. And the one thing that I always tell people is that when you add value, value gets added back to you. In fact, the way I've seen it a lot of the times is that if you take that position in a networking scenario, it is automatic for the other person to also ask you what you are doing. So it's this reciprocity thing. We need to understand it. We don't have to be like a panel saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a job." Blah, blah, blah. How about tell me what you have done in the other companies you have worked for that I helped that company improve? So this type of things. I'm talking about networking scenario now. Now there's also another tool, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is another tool. So you can use LinkedIn to do exactly because LinkedIn is used for networking, right? So, but there are ways you use LinkedIn to also achieve the same thing. You connect with somebody on LinkedIn, reaching out, presenting yourselves as somebody of value, not somebody who is just looking for a job, not somebody who is a newcomer and needs help and all sort of things that people will do when they reach out to somebody for the first time. But looking at this person's profile and understanding their journey, like look at their journey also, and go reach out, talk about how you add value, and mention something unique that you learn from their profile about them, and ask some question. Okay, how have they been able to achieve this type of unique achievement, right? So there are different ways this could happen. This is something I did myself. And nowadays when I do these things, it's just part of me because I've done it over and over and over to learn that okay, this is the best way to approach. Like yesterday, I still did a referral for one of our colleagues, an HR person. I just reached out to this HR person. Yeah, well, I saw you made this post, blah, blah, blah. I'm somebody like this. I do this. I help with this and that. I was wondering if this person could be a good candidate for this role. He has worked with me in this and this. And true, this guy helps us here. In fact, he still was online last week to help with moderating here. And and this is the way this thing works. You don't reach out asking for help without helping first. Okay. So LinkedIn helps in that regards as well. So I think Masru, you raised up your hand just now. You're on mute. Oh, it's better. Okay. I didn't notice that. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so this is what I think I just needed to break down networking because a lot of people get it wrong. They think it's about just reaching out and handing your card and things like that. Fine, it's just like you're scratching it on the surface. You're not really doing what networking is. And the other thing I like to also let people know that when it comes to events, it's every event is a job fair. Don't go to an event and thinking, um, oh, this event is just about something doesn't have anything to do with job. No, every event is a job fair. Think always have that at the back of your mind. And why I'm emphasizing this is that when you go to this event, be very strategic, regardless of what event it is. It could even be events within your community. Be very strategic. Know the type of people that are coming there. Look them up. The keynote speaker, who is a person, what have they accomplished? That made them to be made the keynote speaker for that event. Reach out to them after the event. Especially people who are within your field. Reach out to them that, oh, you were part of this event and you really like the keynote, or you mention something, something unique about them, or something you noticed about them, and then from there take the conversation forward. To have conversation with them. All right, so that you can start building that rapport. You never know where that leads to. It could be a 1 year thing, it could be 2 months, it could be 1 week thing, and something comes from that, big bridge that you just built. So that's the way it works. So here is another food for thought. Whether it's fair or not, you need to have employees make referrals for you if you want to find a job. So this is an HR consultant, okay, the gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper is telling you this is the way it works, right? And regardless that this is somebody who actually is the gatekeeper of the process, they are the one that will say, oh, you have to cross your T's, you have to dot your I's, you have to write an optimized resume. This is what I mean by gatekeeper process. But they are still the one telling you, fair or not. Oh, don't make it as if, oh, yeah, but it's supposed to be a competitive process. And it's supposed to be, like people from my culture would say, oh, that's legwork now. No, you need to understand this. This is an HR consultant telling you this. I'm not the one saying this. This is from a research, right? That this particular consultant was actually interviewed about job search in North America. And he said this specifically: if either is fair or not, get referral. Because at the end of the day, based on what we saw, what the responses you guys gave us earlier, employers have figured out that it's referred candidates that perform better. They are the only ones that want to stay because they don't want to disappoint the guy that brought them in. So they want to do everything possible to make sure that this guy didn't regret referring them. So the other thing also is that if you're applying online and you're not getting referrals, guess what? You are a random candidate. You know what I mean? Nobody knows you. In fact, recruiters will ask you at the interview if you knew anybody at the company. You might wonder, why are they asking me this? Am I supposed to say I don't know anybody? Now, you know better. The reason why they're asking is that, is there somebody in the company that probably will help you to understand their culture better? Do you have a friend in the company? Because guess what? If you have a friend in the company, the friends of that friend will be your friend. And you will have people who can actually help you out to get better at what you do, to be able to deliver. It's not really just about what you know, guys. It's not only just about your certification. It's not just only about your resume. Sometimes, and a lot of times, it's about who you know in the company, who can help you to be able to deliver the job. You can't do the job on your own, no matter what you know. So this is the reason why this HR consultant is saying this. And it also speaks to, these are processes. I speak from procurement perspective. No matter how, how we call our sourcing supplier selection process as the best practice, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you might actually want somebody who has a social proof so that you're not just taking a risk on some suppliers from nowhere and expecting that person will deliver without any social proof that they can deliver. This is also what's going on. So you need to understand this, and this will help you with clarity on how you do your jobs going forward. So interviews, basically when it comes to interviews, it's also, there's something about interviews that connects directly back to how well you network. Interviews is just calling you in based off of this resume that you send, we want to know this person. Let's see if you are, like if you're a good fit for our company's culture, right? So this is the reason why they will do an interview. So to also tell you again that it's not just about what you know. They'll be more at comfort level if they do that interview and they see the vibe, they see the, like how you connect well with them and their culture. That will actually be one of the major determining factors. So there's also one thing I've learned from my own experience interviewing. I tell people that a lot of the times is about what you did not say most of the time. It is not about what you said during the interviews. And the reason why I say this is after we've done interviews and we've done our report of interviews, when we are trying to get an approval of the person that we're hiring, there's another checklist. So this checklist, we have about 10 questions in this checklist. And you will find it interesting the type of things we have in this checklist. Did this person listen and waited to clarify your question before they answer the question? That's one of the items on that checklist. Did this person smile during the interview? Was it somebody that smiled or somebody that frowned? Okay. Third, did this person interrupt you as the interviewer during the interview? Right? And it goes on and on and on. And what am I getting at? These questions are trying to figure out your personality, because really this is what would help you to be able to deliver on the job. When it really comes down to the job itself delivering, because they don't want to bring you in and then they realize that this person doesn't really have anything in common with the culture of the company or the dominant culture of the company. This person doesn't smile, this person doesn't even, it's not friendly. I mean, why do you want to work with somebody who's not friendly? And so all of these things are very, very vital, and this is why I said it's about what you didn't say than what you did say. There's one I also want to remember is about effective communication. What you're saying, is it clear? Can they hear you clearly? We're not talking about accent here. Everybody's got accent, but can they hear you clearly over the accent? Right. So this is also very critical because you're going to be working with customers, with suppliers, with partners, and if they are struggling to hear you clearly over your accent, how would it be then when you are communicating with your customers, with our customers? So all of these things are very critical stuff that are way beyond just about, your fantastic resume, your qualification, and every other thing. So this is one thing I also want to kind of highlight for you guys here. Here is another food for thought. It's kind of as you round up. Referred candidates are twice as likely to land an interview as other applicants. So this is based on that same research where I got this. This is a very huge one too. They're saying that referred candidates are twice as likely. And you probably already know the reason, right? You already said the reason. So here they're saying getting the interview, right? So really is about that trust that already was established through another person within the company. So I think the way I would say this is to give you somebody that I helped very early in my coaching career based in Alberta. So this guy actually was with me in Winnipeg. Well, after several years of working in mobile in Nigeria, his wife was tired of just having two homes. The husband is in Nigeria, and the families are here, and the wife is struggling with the kids. So he had no choice than to come here, and then they've already been pushing these survival jobs things are paying. It's excitating. At some point, he reached out to me through one of my friends. You see how it works? Referral again. And one of the things I broke down to him is based on this particular food for thought. That look, the way it works here, I actually broke down the hiring pyramid to him. That look, this is the way it works here. And when he had that thought in his head, the one thing that he did differently was he reached out to his friends that are currently working within the oil and gas, where he also worked back home. So these friends are here already. So he reached out to one in Alberta and let him know that look, my coach told me that this is the way this thing works here. So I'm reaching out just in case your employer have something open, you can refer me. And then there was one day that his friend heard his boss saying that he's been trying to fill a role, but he's been getting garbage resume. And then that thing just sparked in his head, the guy, and said, like, I have a friend. We actually work together back home, and he's a great guy. I mean, if you don't mind, I can send his resume. He said, send it right away. And that same week, the guy was actually interviewed. He was flown to Alberta, did the interview there, and they gave him a job offer right on the spot. Now, here is the kick. Now, they told him that, okay, go and apply to the job online. And that should be something that really connects back to this. Go and apply to the job online that you already got a job offer for. Does that make sense? Now, the thing you need to take away from that particular incident, there are a lot of jobs out there that are posted online that they already offer somebody that job, or there is a preferred candidate for that job. So regardless that you have all these fantastic resume and qualification and everything, that you may actually not be called for that interview because they have a preferred candidate. And if you're called for that interview because you are so impressive that they cannot ignore you, guess what? You are competing against a preferred candidate. And which means you have to be overboard too for them to really consider you. Because you are the random candidate. They've seen this person's performance or somebody has recommended this person, but they don't know. You're the the person that they don't know beyond just what you're saying or what they're saying on the resume. So you have to go above and beyond for them to hire you over that preferred candidate. Okay. So I don't know if anybody have a question at this time as we round up. Questions? You can use the chat box. You can do a thumb. You can use the emoji. Questions, Monsieur? That one is crazy. Yeah, so there you go. These things are it's happening. Sibonisa, you have a question? Any other person have a question? Or a comment? No comments? Okay. Hmm. For paperwork. Yeah, helping them to fill paperwork. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Any other comments or questions? I don't think I've checked the box here. Yeah, I don't see any questions. So yeah, this thing is really giving me a headache here. This LinkedIn stuff. The funny thing is, if I don't share the voice, it wouldn't make sense. Anyways, give me a second. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Okay, I think somebody had something here. A random candidate is like, yeah, you're right. A random candidate is as twice likely to receive a random feedback, right? Oh, yeah, that's a very interesting one. I never thought about that. So, if you don't want to receive a random feedback, you already know what you have to do. You have to get uh, let me share my screen again. This thing is not making sense. Yeah? So, give me a sec. Present. Okay, so you might have the question, what is next? If you don't have any other question, but before I go to what is next, can you see my screen here? So here is a checklist of what you are to be doing differently. So remember in the beginning, I said you cannot get different results with the same set of behaviors. Now you know that there are some behaviors that needs to change when it comes to job search in Canada. You need to use referrals from current employees that are working in these companies. So at the worst case scenario, if you see a job online, posted online, reach out to people within that company, even though you know that that job might be uh, uh, radio job, or what do we call it now? So a job that is just there to fill paperwork, right? So reach out to somebody inside. Now you can apply to that job, and after that, reach out to somebody inside the company. And it's very, very important for several reasons. And this is what we actually want to cover next week. So we'll look at what we call informational interview, which is the process that you use to generate referrals by reaching out to your colleagues within the company. So you need to reach out to, say you're a buyer or you're targeting a buyer's role. At a minimum, you should know about 10 different buyers that are already working in the industry that you're targeting. I hope that makes sense. And the reason is this, a lot of the things that we have said already. You know how recruiters work, corporate recruiters, recruitment agencies, and all that. Now, if there is a role that they want to fill, especially the recruitment agencies, it's a competitive scenario because they're competing with other recruitment agents, right? So they have a situation where they want to bring a candidate that would um, outcompete the candidates that the other recruitment agencies are bringing. So what they will do is they will try to poach somebody who is already working with another company because that person definitely has a social proof that they can do that job. Now, it just so happens that a lot of the times our colleagues understands this, the colleagues within our network, they understand this already, that if you are approached by a recruitment agency or by a corporate recruiter that, okay, they have this role, blah, 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 they're wondering if it's something you'll be interested in, and they are not interested, they are happy where they are. They don't want to leave the company they're working with, that they can ask that recruiter if they can refer their friends. Does that make sense? This is one of the things we do within our network, specifically on our WhatsApp. We refer our colleagues. So the colleagues that we have in our network know to ask if they can refer their friends, and they will share within our platform for those who might be interested. In fact, they will provide the name and the email of that recruiter. So this is the reason why I emphasize that you need to reach out to the people that are already working in the companies that you desire. Specifically those guys with the same job titles as a job title that you desire. So if you are desiring the job of a buyer, the job of a senior logistics manager, the job of a category lead, the category manager, reach out to, I recommend 10 different category managers in the country, in the industry that you desire, and you build rapport with them. Again, from the networking that I taught today, add value to them. What are they doing that you can support? What are they? In fact, even start with little things like if they are sharing posts on LinkedIn, can you also repost their shares on LinkedIn? If there's something interesting, something that they do to to improve their own brand on LinkedIn, can you also help them reshare it? And if you do that consistently, the person will have no choice than to notice you. And if you reach out to them at that point in time that you would like to have a chat with them, it will be a no brainer for them that this is somebody who has been sharing their posts on LinkedIn. Why won't they have time to also add value to them? So this is the way this thing works. Leverage referrals. It's not about just going out randomly and requesting for somebody to give you a referral. It's a methodical process, which we'll talk about next week. Get a mentor. So this is also the one that I mentioned, when we started out. You need a mentor, somebody who has done what you are trying to do. They understand the roughs on the road, they understand the lay of the land and every other thing in between, and they're able to help guide your journey so that you don't run into the mistakes they also run into that cost them so much. So this is the idea behind getting a mentor, a guide, a coach. Get a job search strategy. I talked about this. One of the strategies you will take away from this session is that if you have not been socializing your job search, you need to socialize it going forward. You can't just be doing spray and pray and hoping that things will change for you in your job search. You have to be very methodical about building relationships. As an example that I mentioned on that level, referrals, informational interviews, and through this you are building bridges, across the different companies in the industry, whereby if the job comes up in those companies tomorrow, the person won't say, "Oh, I didn't know you from nowhere," because you already socialized your job search. I talked about SWOT resume. I'll leave that for now. Seek feedback. So this is also very key. When I showed the first slide, I talked about the growth mindset. Getting feedback is about growth. It's about what do you need to do differently going forward. So it's possible that you're not getting feedback from these recruiters and all that because probably they're even ghosting you. But if you have a mentor also helps to fulfill that role. That when you go for interviews, they can help to debrief you. Okay, you provide apparently what happened during interview, and be able to share, your own experience with them, and then they can be able to provide some type of feedback. And this helps you not only just as a matter of getting feedback. It also helps you mentally because see what happens when we go for interviews. You start regurgitating these questions and you say, "Oh, should I answer it this way?" I should answer it that way. And then if you go into that spiral, you'll be like, you know how our brain works, right? Our brain will be telling you you did something wrong, you didn't do well. But if you have a mentor, it will be a different thing because this is somebody who has gone through it and they're able to let you know, okay, this is probably how you should process things. These are the things probably I want to learn from this event and stuff like that. Finally, upgrade your mindset. That's what I said from the beginning. It's about changing the behavior. Um, Whatever you're doing at this moment in terms of your job search, you need to change your behaviors. Yeah, I need to share a link. I have another session coming up. Um, okay, so it's about changing the behavior, and once you change the behavior, your results will change. So you need to become strong by learning from the events, and things will naturally change. So I want to know if there's any question. The next steps here is I need you to schedule a 15 minutes phone call with me. I will share the link here, copy link. So I'm going to share the link here. So that will be the next step. Let's look you specifically, your journey, what your objectives are, your strengths, let's look at where things are, and then we could take it to the next level. I will also advise that you join the Supply Jobs Canada platform, supplyjobs.ca, because that's how we can add you to the WhatsApp. If you don't join, we're not able to add you to the WhatsApp. So the WhatsApp too, I'm going to share the link to the WhatsApp right away. Just give me, uh, so let me share the link to the WhatsApp. What's that now? So, like I said, join the platform first, and then we'll add you, because the WhatsApp you have to request a link. Otherwise, you won't actually be able to join. So I'm going to share the WhatsApp link here. Right click link. So if you can share this with anyone, but you already know that that person, you need to also share you need to share what's it called with them. You need to share the platform link with them. So they have to do the platform link first before they request to join WhatsApp. Otherwise, we won't approve them. So next week we're going to talk about the informational interviews. If this has been of value to you, there's going to be a survey that you would receive. Please help us complete that survey, and then we'll take things from there. I want to quickly share a link with somebody. Just give me a second. So use that link, join the WhatsApp, and ensure that. Okay, make this one. Give me a second, please. I'm trying to do something. Yeah, I'm kind of a multitasker, right? Okay. Okay. I hope I've not logged myself out of here. Okay, so while we're doing that, I don't know if anybody have final questions that we can address before we take off for the day. Any other question? Okay, let's give me a second here. I need to send this link out. Mm. Okay, so in light of no questions, I guess what you need to do is to schedule the 15-minute discovery session with me, and we'll take it from there because all being said so far is generic. Each person's situation is different, so I always like to, speak with each person to know, okay, where they might need help on their journey, and we could see what happens next after that. We have a job search accelerator. If it's something that might be of interest to you, we can also talk about the job search accelerator, which has been used to help a lot of people. You can look on my LinkedIn, you would see this is a very unique type of job search coaching that we've used. It was designed specifically for supply chain and project managers, and we've used it to help a lot of people, business analysts, data analysts, supply chain professionals, operations managers, etc. So if it's something that would be of interest to you, do not hesitate to do the discovery phone chat first. That's the first thing. And then we'll take it from there. So that said, I have another session coming up where we have our SAP FI training starting at 1 p.m. So I'll need to leave now. Thanks, everybody. I will leave this session on for some time so that you can pick the link. For those of you who haven't introduced yourself, please do so. Like I said, the behaviors have to change. You need to go to events, seeing every event as a job fair, connect with people after the event. You might think, oh, they're job seekers like you, but you don't know the kind of connections they have, the kind of network they have. And connecting with them will help you to take things to the next level, maybe building rapport and then hopefully helping each other out, whatever you guys are working on, especially if you are of the same profession, right? So don't hesitate to introduce yourself, share your URL, and I'll leave this on for some time at this point. Okay, that's it, guys, for me. Have a great weekend. See you next week for the informational interview section. And bye for now. Okay, bye. Hello? Yeah. Jọ o máa kọ́kọ́ search fún connection náà. So o máa lo Bluetooth lórí ṣé bí fóònù ló ń lò. Search. So ó máa gbé gbogbo. No, pile, Pyle. Yeah, that's the one. Mm. I don't know. Hello, guys. Can you guys hear me?